Hello, my name is Contover, and this is Current Buzz. Today we have Jonathan Northridge, right?
Yes.
Correct? And he's the Development Communications Coordinator for the Lowell Humane Society in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Loved it. Love having you. We talked before, and I've been to the Humane Society, and you gave me a tour of the Humane Society, and I was surprised at some of the things that you told me. And you told me the Humane Society was 130 years old. Is that correct?
It's actually 151 this year. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's probably one of the oldest humane societies in the country, if that's the case.
Yeah, I looked it up. We started in 1873, and I think the first one was in Pennsylvania around like the 1860s or so.
Oh, wow.
But it's kind of hard to get like specific records for that kind of thing, because much like us, a lot of them started with just a group of people, and actually ours particularly is made up of women who were interested in making sure that the animals and community was cared for in that way.
Okay.
So it's hard to tell who was first, but we're definitely up there, yeah.
Humane Society takes care of animals in the greater Lowell area, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And what is the mission of the Humane Society, and what kind of animals do you accept and let people adopt? So let's go there.
Sure.
You'll be doing most of the talking. So,
yeah, totally understand.
Yeah.
So our mission at the Humane Society, I mean, we have like a nice one written on our website, but to summarize it, I think, so everyone can really just understand quickly, it's that every pet, whether they have a home or owned, deserves to be cared for and loved, and we do not discriminate on any sort of family as far as like race or creed or anything like that. Everyone is welcome, and everyone, including pets, deserves some love. And so we make sure that they're taken care of, whether they are a stray or an owned pet that needs to be surrendered. And then we also, part of that mission is to take it a little bit further and make sure that we're providing resources and education to the public. So that way it's not just us, but our entire community is properly
When you mean the public, what do you mean? The children, public, in the sense of
I'm talking about everybody.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do everything from having Girl Scout troops come into the shelter and giving them a tour, to going out to the senior center and having some kitten playtime, or having inviting them to come in and volunteer.
Oh wow, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And we really cater to everybody who.
Do you have internships? That's another thing that high school and college, or
primarily more on the college level.
Oh, okay.
We do have some specific internships available on like animal care side. So if you are training to be a veterinarian or things like that, and you would like to apply and help out the shelter, we are always looking for that. But also, we have worked with the English department on helping write some of our animal bios that go up on our website, and help with our social media. And the history department at UML actually helped a lot with pulling records and archives for our 150th anniversary. And they went through and pulled some of the stories and things. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, so there's internships available. It doesn't necessarily need to be tied to a school, but yeah, we definitely are always looking for help.
Okay. Let's talk about the animals, right?
Yep.
I have a dog.
Sure.
Let's say.
Okay.
I can't feed it. I can't do anything with it. I'm moving out of town, and I can't take it with me because the contract of my apartment or my condo or my
of course.
home doesn't allow the dog to or cat to be with me.
Yep.
So what could I do with that?
So that's actually a great piece, just talking about how we work on a lot of education and everything. Of course, when people think of the animal shelter, they think of a place that they can come and surrender their pet if they need to perhaps get it adopted or find another loving home. But where we would actually start with you is we would ask you, is there anything that we can do to help to keep the dog with you?
Okay.
Because it's family.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And so, if you're having trouble maybe making ends meet with food and making sure you're providing for that, our shelter actually offers a pet food pantry where you could apply, you let us know what your needs are, and kind of on a monthly basis, we give you pet food for the month. Until you can get back on your feet.
Wow.
So that's something that we would go out of our way to.
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, well, we don't want to, like I was saying, we don't discriminate on what a loving home is. And just
Right.
because someone's having some trouble to make ends meet doesn't mean it's not a loving home. And so if we can help kind of bridge that gap, we would do the same. Similarly, if it was vet bills or medical costs, we would try to maybe help you find a more cost-effective vet, or maybe try and offer through our clinics if, we have some specific clinics for shots or procedures to try and get you a voucher or things in like that. All that being said,
a voucher in meaning what?
So there's actually programs through the state that you can apply to for, like, I believe it's for spay and neuter vouchers. There might be one for rabies too. But yeah, if you're, again, struggling to make ends meet, you can apply for that. And we obviously can help you with that application to get a voucher for one of those things.
And we have the number and the website for people to call.
Yes, please.
And,
It's on the screen there. Yeah, you can call us or you can email us, and we will be able to assist you.
Yeah. It's an open concept, more or less. You're accepting of all animals except horses or big.
Yeah, yeah. Earlier you had asked, like, what animals we primarily serve. It's mostly mammals, but there are some exceptions. So dogs and cats are kind of the big one that people think of. I was surprised when I started working at the shelter like 3 years ago how many guinea pigs we see.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it was actually in the news a couple months ago that there were 49 guinea pigs dumped in the woods in Dracut.
Oh, no.
And yeah, our team went out and literally like plucked them all up and tried to bring them home, and some of them were pregnant. So it was actually even more than 49 ended up with us. But yeah, so guinea pigs are a big one, hamsters, gerbils, and then there's actually been a few chinchillas, which has also been interesting. For some reason, in my mind, they're a little bit more of an exotic type of pet. And then
rabbits.
Yeah, and then
you got rabbits.
The rabbits, yes, plenty of rabbits. And then we do occasionally see some birds as well.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's
kind of. You mean people drop off birds?
Yep, surrender them. Yeah, similar deal as everything else. It's very rare that we see a stray bird. Like just a random, clearly owned bird out in the wild. But I think it actually has happened since I've been there.
So if you have a cat, a dog, or another animal, and you can't take care of them, you're breaking up with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, you're not living together, and you have to bring it to the Humane Society.
Of course.
Right?
Yep.
And they will take it without any questions.
No, not without any questions. Actually, with a lot of questions.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not saying that to deter anyone from coming in, but we want to know all about the animal that you're dropping off, because we want to make sure that they end up in another loving home and that they are up to date on all of their medical things.
Yeah, in other words, their shots.
Yeah. So we highly recommend that you actually call or email that number and make an appointment, so that way we can set up an appointment for you to come in. We would ask for like the vet records and everything, because if we don't know, we kind of have to assume that they're not up to date, and then we end up giving more shots than they might not necessarily need. If there's a reason that they had to come to us, like maybe they're barking too much, we want to make sure that they don't end up in another apartment home where they're going to be barking and annoying all the neighbors, but
good point.
Try to find them a house that has plenty of space for them to yell to their heart's content. So yeah, if that was the case, you would make an appointment, and again, like I said before, totally like non-judgmental. We are accepting for any situation, but if there is any sort of space in that situation for us to keep them in a loving home, we'll do that.
Okay, good. I would like to adopt a cat or a dog. What is the procedure there?
Yep. So we have an application which you can request by emailing us or visiting our website, and then you fill it out and send it back to us. And it can either be for a specific pet, or which I would recommend would get it looked at the fastest, or you can just submit it and say, I'm looking for a dog that's over 55 pounds to run around and play with. Right. And then we can keep it on file. And then when the next 55-pound dog comes in, we can give you a call. And so basically the process is you can come in or send in that application, but you would fill it out, and then we would set up a time for you to meet an animal that you were interested in, whether that's a dog maybe going on a walk or hanging out in the play yard, or we have a meet and greet room at the shelter that we would bring the cat into, and you would have some time both with a staff member there or a volunteer member there to try and socialize and see how you get along with the cat. And then our animal care staff will take a look at your application while you're doing that, and then probably approve you as long as there's nothing, too outstanding on there. Like if you do rent, we do ask that you have a note from the landlord or
good point.
or show
or the condo complex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if there are restrictions like that, we will check up on that kind of thing. But once all of that is settled and you get approved, then you'd be able to take the animal home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I could take my cat home. In regards to feeding all these animals, who pays for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a good question.
We are absolutely a nonprofit, so we do have a contract with one animal food supplier to bring in a lot of food at a slightly discounted price, but we are very much reliant on donations. We do not get any sort of state or federal funding. We actually also get fewer grant opportunities because we are not like a human serving resource necessarily, even though pets are very important, and there's plenty of studies that show how impactful a pet's life can be in your life. We don't necessarily get those opportunities, so we're entirely reliant on donations from the people in the public, whether that's dropping off a bag of food that wasn't opened yet or monetary donations.
Oh, okay. So people can drop off bags of food.
Yeah. Our animals generally are on the same type of food, just because we have a baseline for them. But with our pet food pantry, or if some of the animals, especially cats, are very picky eaters, we try to make sure we have options for them and send them all home. So yeah, food donations directly to us are great. But I can't stress enough how much the monetary and financial donations really help.
With the animals, and particularly the dogs, are people looking for specific dogs, or do they usually take in any dog that they see or like or whatever?
I think it kind of depends on the person and their experience. We get a fair amount that are, looking for a smaller dog because they're maybe in an apartment or maybe a little bit slower and don't want to keep up with a big dog running around. Some people, same with cats, they're looking for a specific breed of cat. But a lot of people, just kind of look for that connection when they come in or when they read about them and they realize like, oh, they like to go on hikes and I go on hikes every day. One of my dogs loves to play fetch and like we just hang out in the yard all day. And my other dog loves to just sit on the couch all day. And so people read those bios and see like, oh, this dog loves to lay and sit on the couch. And so that's what I want, just a snuggle buddy, And so as long as there's options for that, they generally find a home for them.
Okay, yeah. But most people will usually take any dog. Is that my
I would
guess?
actually say the dogs are a little bit, I don't know. It could go either way, but the dogs are a little bit trickier because like I feel like their personalities are like a little bit more in your face, and so you have to deal with them, whereas like with a cat, they can have their own personality and you can kind of coexist with them. Okay. But with the dog, it's like if you want to sit at home every day, but that dog wants to go on a hike every day, that might not be the best fit for you to bring that dog home and expect to, just be able to sit there while your dog's tearing apart your couch because it wants to run around outside.
Yeah. You have vets that come in. Are they pro bono when they come in? Or?
So it's actually really interesting. We are very lucky as a shelter to have our own veterinary clinic staffed.
You have a table there to perform operations?
Yeah, so we have our own little clinic area. It's got a surgery suite and a little pharmacy and everything.
Has a big light up on top. I did see
that. Yeah. Just so you can see, just like you would picture at a regular surgeon. We have, I believe, one veterinarian on staff and then a couple of veterinary technicians who are able to help out with a lot of things. And then we are able to kind of use that space when it's not being used by our staff. We lend it out to like the MSPCA and other rescues to do their own clinics and things like that too. We recently partnered with the House Rabbit Network, which is a rescue that primarily does rabbits, and they are doing a clinic side by side with us this month for rabbits specifically, and then we're doing one for.
Were you surprised of people who love guinea pigs or rabbits in their home when you started this job?
So not necessarily. My wife and I, we both decided like we wanted dogs, and we both grew up with dogs. But when it came to guinea pigs, I was surprised at how many there were. But there are plenty of people now, especially working at the shelter, who love guinea pigs. And like, it didn't really click with me that like, oh yeah, like the type of pet that you would have in a cage, like on your dresser or whatever at home, was not my experience growing up. But like, you know, obviously saw it at my friends' houses with like even like hermit crabs and other stuff too. So it didn't really click for me because a lot of my friends and I had dogs growing up, but it totally makes sense, and like they're very cute. And I don't know if you've ever held a pregnant guinea pig, but you can feel their belly like kind of kick around and everything. Yeah, it's adorable.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Let's talk about rabies. You said real quick. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
Rabies is a disease that if you get bitten by an animal that's rabied, you have to get shots. If I remember correctly,
yes.
When I was younger, the shots were in the stomach. Is that the case now?
Oh, I'm actually not sure.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to spread any misinformation there. But yeah,
sorry.
No, it's all good. But with an animal, basically rabies is still very much a worry that we need to make sure every animal is up to date. Every animal that comes through our doors gets up to date on their shots, as well as we spay and neuter. Because overpopulation is definitely a thing. There's plenty of pets and plenty of shelters that need homes. We don't need to make more of them right now. And so one of those things that we test for, or that we, you know, what's the word? Immunize for, is rabies. And some people get concerned when they're out and about, like, oh, I was playing with this cat, it came up to me, it was really friendly, it laid on its back, I started petting it, and then it bit me and ran away. Do I have to worry about rabies? And generally the answer is no. If a cat or dog is coming up to you acting very friendly, you know, soliciting some of that attention and everything, chances are you don't have to worry about it if it does nip you. However, if you do see foaming at the mouth and it's particularly aggressive, that are kind of the classic signs of rabies there. And so if you do get bit by that sort of thing, you definitely should go to the doctor. It's one of those, rabies is one of those things that I believe in humans, you don't really know the signs, or you don't really see the signs until it's too late. So you want to make sure that if you do get bit and you're not sure, to go get checked out by a doctor.
Yeah, Jonathan works for the Lowell Humane Society, so that's why we brought him in. We're going to talk about a lot of new things. We're going to talk about microchips in regards to the Humane Society and what they do and how it's done. All cats and dogs are now microchipped. Is that my understanding?
Yes.
It's not a GPS, from what I understand, if you can correct me. It's not a GPS microchip anymore. But you could have that, but the Humane Society does it a different way.
Yes. So generally a microchip refers to a chip that at this point is actually implanted under the skin. And I didn't realize it until I started working there, but it's actually small enough to be done via injection, just like you would a shot for, for rabies or anything else. Yeah.
That's what I was impressed when you told me that they inject.
And so, like you said, it's not really a GPS. Like your pet doesn't then get uploaded into a database where you can track them on a map or anything. No. But should that pet get away or you know, get lost, then the idea is when someone else finds it, they can bring it to an animal shelter or animal control. And we have these scanners at our shelter. Every shelter I know has them. That you scan the microchip, and on that microchip it has like the owner address, and every animal has its own unique like
barcode,
like serial number. And so it tells you like who that is and who it belonged to at the time of registry. So if you know your cat does wander off and get into the next town, and then it gets brought to us, we can scan it and get it back to you.
So if I find a cat or a dog, bring them to you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You probably want to start by calling animal control.
Okay. That's right. Every town has an animal control officer. You could call the officer. They have a number. I don't want you to call 911. Just call their business number or whatever they have in the certain police departments.
Yes. So we recommend doing that with dogs.
Okay.
And then if a cat appears hurt or sick, to do the same, to call animal control. One of the things that we actually talk about a lot is bringing in owned cats, because even though we advocate for cats to stay indoors where they're safest, some cats just can't do that. Some need to be indoor, outdoor, and roam around a little bit. And we see actually a fair amount of kind of the scenario I was telling you earlier. Someone has a friendly cat come up to them. It's out in the rain, and so they bring a bowl of food out for them, and then the next day, the cat comes back because it knows it can get food there, and so you get food, and then you start to think, no one's looking after this cat. That might not necessarily be true. This cat just now knows where the best buffet in town is. And so we recommend in those cases, if the cat seems healthy and friendly, to actually not scoop up the cat and bring it to us, but maybe put a little like piece of paper around its collar and say, like, is this your cat? Please call me. Or put signs up saying, is this your cat around your neighborhood? Because the big worry is that once you take that cat out of the neighborhood, if it's not microchipped and everything like that, getting it back home is actually very tough and very hard.
Do they call you if they're missing a cat? Do you?
Yes. So we have on our website we have a form for missing pets and found pets. So if you find a dog and you're able to keep it in your house for a little bit, you fill out that form, and then we post that on Facebook and on our website, and try and get that out to everybody. Like, you know, lost cat, have you seen this cat, to everybody, and same with found dogs, or found pets, anything. Here's a cat that is found and has been coming to so-and-so's house every day. Is this your cat? And we see a lot of reunifications through it.
Oh, good.
It's really nice.
That's good. You were telling me when I was in the shelter that you should keep water out for the dogs or cats, was it?
Oh, yeah. So I was talking about the education piece, and I wish I had access to it. It must be somewhere. But in our archives, there's a pamphlet that we put out many, many years ago. I think it was in the 60s or 70s, about making sure your pet always has access to food, or sorry, not access to food, otherwise your pet's gonna get fat. Always access to water, because a while back, you used to think like you would give your pets food and water at the same time with their meals, and then be able to kind of plan their bathroom breaks and everything a little bit easier. But we found as a overall society that them always having access leads to less like urinary tract infections, and
interesting.
You know, make sure that they are hydrated and everything. So it's one of those pieces that we do say, like, you know, unless your vet recommends for another reason not to, access to water is important to animals. Yeah.
Again, call your animal control officer if you find a cat or dog, and he will come. And if it's an aggressive dog, you definitely call the animal control officer.
Yeah. Don't put yourself in danger. And a lot of people don't know this, but by trying to get in that, and then if you get in a scrap with the dog, you're also putting the dog in danger.
Right.
It could just be struggling for food and everything, so you don't want to do that. Let a trained professional.
Yeah, I think a good idea would be in your phone, put the animal control officer's telephone number in your phone, so if something comes up and you're on the road, that you should call them.
Yeah, same with like poison control and everything else. It's good to have on hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Humane Society, put the phone number up again and put that in your phone, and definitely will, you know, do it. So, you know, anything you want to say? We have a minute left.
Sure. We really are entirely reliant on the community, and we've been around for 150 years, so we're a part of the community.
Yep.
And if you're not quite sure or have any questions about anything, please come down and visit us. We're a little shelter, but we're always happy to talk.
Good point.
Or either by email or phone, or in person too. We're always happy to show you our favorite pet currently at the shelter, and we really appreciate the time.
Is there favorite pets at the shelter? I mean,
okay, I can't go officially on record and say my favorite pets. You know,
no, I don't want you to go on shelter.
But when you have a dog that sticks with us for a while, we tend to maybe play a little bit of favorites when it comes to some of that.
Oh, okay. If you go to the website, you can see the cats and dogs that are available and the guinea pigs, etc.
Yep.
And then you can make a decision and call the Humane Society, and they'll come in.